Back in 2000, a 20-year-old man by the name of Rene Lima-Marin was found guilty of doing 2 armed robberies, and as a result, he was sentenced to a total of 98 years behind bars. Now, fast forward to about 8 years later, he gets released early due to a clerical error. And as a result, he gets out of prison and decides, all right, well, I'm going to continue living my life. He didn't change his name. He didn't go into hiding. He actually continued living in the same community that he was found guilty of committing these crimes. And he also got married and had 2 children. Well, it turns out that authorities found that a clerical error was done, and as a result, a judge decided that he needed to go back to prison. Now, understandably, he's upset about this because he feels that he has been a productive member of society, he hasn't committed any other crimes, and he feels that he's been reformed. The justice system has already done what it was supposed to do, so why should he go back to prison for a mistake that someone else made? And I do think that it is a really difficult story to have a judgment for, because he did get convicted of 2 armed robberies, but at the same time, he got sentenced to 98 years behind bars for that. Was that a fair sentence to begin with? I don't know. I want to hear from you guys. Tell me what you think. Bria, make your point.
I was just wondering, do you think that the man that accidentally let him out was somebody who failed like 2nd grade math and was like, oh, okay, 90 years plus 6 years plus minus 4 years for good behavior, carry the 2 equals free?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because I haven't read a single article about the person who made the error getting punished for it. I mean, maybe he has been punished, but it doesn't sound like that's the case. Chrissy, what do you think?
I mean, the guy, he committed 2 armed robberies. Yes, that's bad. He served some time, but he got an accidental second chance. You know, like, go a little easier on him. He started living this free life. He hasn't done anything illegal since. Like, just maybe go easier on him.
Yeah, I would argue that our justice system is far too punitive as opposed to rehabilitating people, right?
Yeah.
So I think that you need a mix of both in order to have a successful justice system. But no, it's more punitive. It's more about locking people up for as long as you can so certain people profit off of it. I don't know if that's the case with this story, but we have a private prison industry, which is why incarceration has skyrocketed in the country since the 1980s. The fact that he got basically a life sentence, not almost, a life sentence for committing this crime or these 2 crimes is absolutely ridiculous. Did he deserve jail time? Absolutely. But do I think he should be behind bars for 98 years? Absolutely not. Already I see a really big issue with the way that he was sentenced. So the question is, now that you know that he's been free for 6 years and he has a family and he's been a good member of society, do you continue incarcerating him for the original sentence? I think not. But how long you put him behind bars is an open question, and I don't really know what the answer to that is. Here's what I want to ask you guys. Have you ever felt like you've had your freedoms taken away from you? Bria?
I don't think in like an extreme, scenario have I ever had my freedom taken away, but in the principle of being a woman and not completely feeling, safe and, being able to walk around even my neighborhood, by myself, I don't completely feel safe. So I feel like, my freedom is taken away from me every single day, and it happens so often that you almost don't even realize it's happening. This is my life, this is who you are, and you have to, you're kind of expected to be that way because you've always lived your life that way. Mm-hmm. So I guess, yes, I have in that way.
Chrissy, do you have any specific examples?
Absolutely. I think that, growing up and living a straight life before I realized that I was gay, you look forward to getting married and having a family and having certain rights with your spouse, and then falling in love with a woman as an adult and realizing that I am not free to marry her in every place and free to share the same life that I would if she were a man is something that definitely feels like my freedom being taken away.
That's a great point, and something that I don't even think about because my whole life I was told that you're not going to have those rights, you're not going to have those privileges, and I was just like, okay, well then I'm just going to live my life, and then all of a sudden things are changing. But yeah.
Thankfully, things are changing. I would argue that every single person living in the United States is a victim of having their freedoms taken away because of our ridiculous laws and policies in regard to national security. We have a government agency, the NSA, that's constantly collecting our personal information, constantly collecting every single email that we write and every single phone call that we make. And the question is, are you comfortable knowing that the government is watching every single move you make? I certainly am not. Edward Snowden, who did the leak showing what the NSA was doing with their prison program, certainly was not. He gave up all of his rights and freedoms to go live in a different country and leak this information to us. And I think the frustrating part about that is we keep arguing that we live in a country that's free, but we have situations where religion dictates the lives of people, and we also have a situation where the government's constantly watching us and telling us that they're doing so to protect us. It's all bullshit. And so we need a little more political activism in the country. If I could advocate for one thing, it would be for people to wake up and realize that your freedoms are slowly being taken away from you as you're asleep at the wheel. Anyway, tell me what you guys think. Do you feel like your freedoms have been taken away from you? Comment in the section below. And also tell me what you think should have happened with this guy in Colorado who got reincarcerated. Share in the section below, and we'll see you guys soon.